Hi everyone, we are starting a new episode of What's Happening in Brazil. My name is Anara Chagas and I'm gonna update you on the latest news from the country. Almost 1,000 Brazilian citizens were repatriated from Israel in 5 flights by Brazil's Air Force since the beginning of the recent situation in the Middle East. Meanwhile, in Gaza, about 30 Brazilians wait for permission from the Egyptian border control to travel back to Brazil. Between October 30th and 17th, the youth encampment and struggle took place in Brasilia, fighting for land and popular sovereignty. The event gathered about 5,000 youths in a series of activities to discuss the role of the youth in today's struggles, highlighting the challenges and perspectives to guarantee basic rights in rural and urban areas. Last Sunday, during an event in South Africa, Brasil de Fato released the documentary film Terra Vista about the agroecological production of cocoa by the landless workers movement. The film presents the fight of the movement to face agribusiness and change a region marked by what is known as coronelismo and also by the degrading work conditions in the southern region of Bahia state. On October 11th, Brazil's federal police and the Ministry of Labor rescued people under conditions analogous to slavery from a farm neighboring the Apitereuá indigenous land in the town of São Félix do Xingu, Pará state. The farm belongs to the Tucumã's deputy mayor, who was not on the site at the time of the operation. In Brazil, teachers' health aren't good. That's what shows a book recently released by Fundacentro last week on Teachers' Day. The study shows that in the public and private education systems, teachers suffer from the same series of health conditions, predominantly mental disorders such as burnout syndrome, stress, and depression. Brazil's Senate will vote for a change in the constitution that may introduce the private sector in the market of human blood plasma sale to produce medicines. For those who criticize the proposal, it will be a historical retrogression that could endanger Brazil's national blood system.
Plasma corresponds to about 55% of the human blood and is responsible for transporting nutrients, hormones, and proteins to organs. According to the blood law, the human plasma that isn't used in blood transfusion must be freely given to Brazil's national health system, also known as SUS. The prerogative for the production of blood-derived medicines used to treat immune problems, cancer, HIV, among others, belongs to Hemobras, a state-owned company created in 2004 and which will have its factory in Pernambuco state concluded in 2025. But then, Brazil depends on the import of supplies that cost R$1.5 billion annually. Currently, the country underuses a large part of the donated plasma, playing into the hands of defenders of the plasma proposed amendment.
I hope that with this decision, we manage to bring more companies to invest in innovation in the country, new technologies to make plasmapheresis, which is fundamental for fabricating immunoderivatives that are so important for treating rare diseases, but that end up being neglected by the national health system.
Bem da verdade que o nosso sistema único de saúde.
Actually, our health system already deals with exploitation by the private sector together with public agencies in many areas. Maybe that is another step to evaluate how a partnership between the private and public sector would be. Therefore, maybe this is another step to improve the system.
Então, talvez esse seja mais passo.
Although the payment to donors who would sell their blood is not explicit in the text of the proposed amendment, the use of the word commercialization may open the door for this practice, a possibility that worries entities such as Fiocruz, the National Health Council, and CONASEMS.
A PEC ela traz uma falácia.
The proposed constitutional amendment presents the fallacy that only plasma will be commercialized. Once it's approved and the selling of blood is included in the constitutional, blood, an organ of our bodies, we fear that people like me and you who use the public health system won't have our equal and universal rights anymore.
Os nossos direitos.
The proposed amendment's reporter, Daniela Ribeiro, advocates for the idea that selling plasma would help bring foreign capital to the sector and even exportations. To those who criticize the proposal, changing the constitution to open the possibility of gaining money with human blood would also be a dangerous way towards the privatization of organ transplants in the future. Even if, in the future, the project does not allow the sale of human plasma, the logic of voluntary donation may be shaken by the purpose of profit.
Eu não vou doar o meu sangue se a indústria.
I won't donate my blood if the pharmaceutical industry will take my plasma and earn millions with it. I'm donating because I believe that by donating I'm helping people, so that when I be the one in need, I will also count on the help of others. That's the idea we, as a society, agreed upon in the 1988 Constitution.
Depois da Constituição de 88.
Parliamentarians from many areas who oppose the amendment think it is possible to conciliate state production with private capital as long as it respects Hemobras monopoly. An improvement in the supply and price of medicines is foreseen for the near future, but investments are still demanded.
Last week, we celebrated Children's Day. In honor of them, at today's Culture Talk, we present an important topic to kids: games. Study shows that playing outdoors, besides being fun, is also crucial to development of skills and to know yourself.
Gael is a 7-year-old kid. He lives in the city of São Paulo and loves science and technology. When he grows up, he wants to be a scientist. But Gael is already a child who likes to play outdoors, run around, dance, and assemble things with Lego. His mother, Karen, who is a cultural producer and art educator, said that from a very young age, Gael was encouraged by his family to engage with other kids and play freely.
Dentro dessa questão da brincadeira,
When talking about kids playing, be it the proposal of parental daycare or now what we as family consider the best way to experience playing is when they play freely, which is when children develop based on their own interests.
do interesse dela.
A criança ela necessita
The
através
meaning of playing in Portuguese comes from the Latin word for bond. So it's through playing that kids build bonds with other people, the world, the society, and understand what is happening around them, having ties with nature and themselves. Playing and what we call free play are what kids need. Through playing, they listen to themselves and understand what they want to do, whether they want a more active play or a contemplative one. That is also an understanding, a tool, a way to understand yourself.
According to data from the Brazilian Institute of Geography and Statistics, also known as IBGE, just over 17% of the Brazilian population is 12 years old or less. And most of these kids live in urban areas, a place that, in many cases, was not built to provide them what they need.
Você vai para restaurante, mesmo que eles
I think it's really thought here in São Paulo, because public spaces aren't built to include children. Even if you go to a restaurant aimed at families, if you have a baby, there is no baby changing table, or there is one only in the ladies' toilet. But if the father is the person with the kid and he ends up not having access to a baby changing table, even though the place is prepared and says it's a good place for families, sometimes I don't feel welcome in a public spaces with my kid. I think that society has a hard time accepting kids and their spontaneity. He likes to run around and touch things.
Mexer nas coisas, né?
To Paula, it is in nature and outdoor spaces where the health and well-being of kids gets stronger and they build a connection with the territory where they are.
A criança, quando ela vai para a natureza,
When kids play in nature, they strengthen their immune system, take vitamin D, and look to the ozone, not digital screens. Therefore, it's an essential element in children's health, and that's why it should be seen as a right. Children are reproducers of what they learn. They produce culture, meanings, and knowledge. They look at the world from a different point of view, but do understand and produce meaning about the world they see. So playing is the way through which kids produce knowledge, the knowledge about what's around them, and also produce products such as toys, something created through their action in the world.
ela está encontrando.
Did you like the show? So hit the like button and share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel to receive notifications. We'll see you next week.